Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be discussing, of course, new polls which show us an expanding battleground here this year in the election. We have about 6 months left until the election day in November, which is of course on November 3rd. And right now you're looking at our map that we had left off last time with, and I'm just going to go ahead and start over here in Arizona. Arizona polling recently has been showing a advantage towards Joe Biden, and this is for an obvious reason. Arizona is one of the states that has one of the most important Senate elections this year. And of course, in a video in the coming weeks, I'll be discussing the Senate races in the various states and whether the Democrats have a chance of actually flipping the Senate or whether the Republicans will maintain control. So be on the lookout for that. But given the fact that there is such a low respect and a low rate of approval for Kyrsten Sinema in Arizona, I would expect Joe Biden to pick up Arizona. So that's going to stay the same as a lean towards Joe Biden. But given the polling information, you could even make an argument that it is this darker shade of blue like New Mexico. And a similar story for me personally out in Colorado. I'm actually going to put this as a step above Arizona towards the safety level. Most people agree that Colorado is pretty much a lock for Joe Biden now. He's polling about 15%, if not more, over Donald Trump in the state. And so for good reason, people are thinking that Joe Biden will most likely pick up the state of Colorado. Now we move to Florida. And Florida, of course, is one of those states that will be a toss-up, and it will be very close. Given the polling over the last few weeks, I am going to flip this as a slight lean towards the Democratic Party. I'm still hesitant that Democratic voters in Florida will turn out, but this is a video based off of polling information, and you just look at the polls, no matter who it is. Biden up 5%, Biden up 5%, Fox News poll, Biden up 3%, Quinnipiac poll, Biden up 4%. And so no matter where you look, Biden is winning the state of Florida right now, which makes sense given the fact that Trump has kind of done pretty poorly with protecting Social Security. And so now we're going to move up to the state of North Carolina, which of course has been polling similar to that of Florida recently. And we actually saw a flip in the most recent poll that came out this week out of North Carolina, showing a slight lead for Donald Trump. And I would say that I am going to put this state as a slight lean towards the Republican Party. I do think that the Senate seat is more likely to flip towards the Democrats than I see Joe Biden winning the state. But given polling information, it could always change. However, with the East Carolina University poll that came out this week that I was looking at, it looks like Donald Trump has a slight lead in the state. So that's what we're going to go with. Before we move into the Rust Belt and into Maine, 2, and New Hampshire, I just want to point out Georgia, and their recent polling information shows that Joe Biden is actually winning the state by 1%. This is according to a Civics poll, which came out May 16th to May 18th. The information is always on, I have this tab up right here, Real Clear Politics. And perhaps one video will just go through some of the polls that have been coming out recently. But Joe Biden is making this state more competitive. And so this is going to be a state that we will leave as a toss-up for future videos. Obviously, for right now, I'm going to put it as a lean towards the Republicans because I still believe that push comes to shove, it will be a red state. However, be on the lookout for that. As well, in the same vein, be on the lookout for Texas, as Texas is polling considerably closer to Donald Trump and Joe Biden being a toss-up here. Joe Biden leading in a poll by 1% out of Public Policy, and then Emerson College poll, Donald Trump leading by 3.5%. And so no matter what way you look at it, the state of Texas will also be one that we will probably leave blank. But for right now, I'm going to leave it as a lean towards the Republican. I'm just going to go up to Nebraska 2 really fast. Nebraska 2, which is a toss-up, I'm going to have as a slight lean towards the Democratic Party. That puts the Democrats at 269 and the Republicans at 200 heading into this next block of voters. So in Maine 2, as far as Maine 2 is concerned, there's not a lot of polling. It is just a district. So I am going to leave this as a lean towards the Republican. That seems to be the critical consensus right now, is that District 2 of Maine will go towards the Republicans, and that the whole state will not all 4 electoral college votes will be able to all go towards Joe Biden. So now we've got New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a state that considerably will have an impact in the election. Recently, the most recent poll that we have shows Joe Biden winning the state. And so that is going to be the information that I'm going to go with. And I'm going to flip it from my last prediction and have it going towards Joe Biden, giving the poll that came out at the end of April. Now we move into the Rust Belt voters. Pennsylvania, a state that Donald Trump absolutely has to win, And right now, given the polling that we're seeing, it's either Biden by a lot or it's either Trump by a lot. I'm going to stick with my gut and say that Pennsylvania will go to Donald Trump. The poll that came out today was 3% in favor of Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And so I think that Pennsylvania, he will be able to claim Pennsylvania as of right now. And I believe that we're going to have a similar story in Ohio. I'm actually going to put Ohio as a step above for the Republicans. No Republican president has won the presidency without the state of Ohio since the 1960s. And so I think that this is going to be a very important state for Trump to pick up. Now, heading into the Wisconsin and Michigan, first we're just going to do Wisconsin because I feel like Wisconsin is now the state that I'm going to flip as well. And I'm actually going to put it as a lean towards the Democratic Party. The poll that came out recently from Marquette, the law school at Marquette, from May 3rd to May 7th shows that Joe Biden is actually winning by 3% in the state. And the public policy polling from 2 weeks earlier shows that Joe Biden wins the state by 5%. So I'm going to leave it as a slight lean towards Joe Biden. And then in the state of Michigan, I'm going to leave it how I had it last time, as a lean towards the Democrats and Joe Biden. It seems to be that Joe Biden is extending his lead in the state of Michigan. But as of right now, this is what I still think that it will be a close race, given the rural areas in Michigan and the fact that Donald Trump did win the state in 2016. Here is a disclaimer for all of this information. Obviously, polling will skew towards the Democrats, and especially in this election. I think that everyone can agree that Trump is very polarizing. And so when polls come out, there are people who are not willing to say that they are going to vote for Donald Trump or vote for a Republican. And so I think that we take all this information with a grain of salt, and you make sure you still go out and vote for whoever you want to vote for, whether it's Democrat or Republican. But right now, given the polling information, this is the kind of electoral map that we would be looking at, with 299 for Joe Biden, 239 for Donald Trump. But again, there are a lot of different ways that things can shake out, and be on the lookout for videos, because I'm planning on having one for the best case scenario for Republicans, the best case scenario for Democrats. I'm also planning on having the Senate, as I was talking about the Senate picture and what it would look like. Can the Democrats flip the Senate? Will the presidency really decide that tiebreaker? Will we have a 50-50 split in the Senate this year? Because spoiler alert, that's what it's looking like early on. So be on the lookout for those videos, guys. Comment below, what do you guys think? I know, totally different than what I said the first time a few weeks ago, but new polls are going to come out. Things are going to change. So I'm excited to see how things are going to go. Thanks for watching.